Disclaimer. This interview was conducted for purely journalistic and educational purposes. I do not support the nefarious activities of these hackers, real-world traders, botters, scammers, or any of the underground community. I published this video because the methods are difficult to replicate. The hackers said at the end of the video, the best way to secure yourself is to educate yourself. That is the purpose of this video. The story of how I actually met this guy is a bit strange. I'm the type of guy who sees a loose thread and decides to pull it. I knew someone was behind the double XP streams on Twitch, and I was curious just how much money they were earning, so I decided to whisper one of the double XP streamers and ask for an interview. I never expected a reply, or even to uncover exactly what I did. To my surprise, the guy replies to me with his Skype name, so I go ahead and add him. He turns down an interview, but he connects me with a friend of his who is much higher up in the hacking community. I never expected to uncover a hacking operation quite on this scale.
I really remember this day. I met this guy named Nick. We were going to Bandos one day. We met in the Grand Exchange. We were going to Bandos. We ended up getting tacits. The guy that Nick and I were doing with, see, I didn't know either of them too well, but then I messaged Nick. I said, let's bounce. He did something and he was being really sketchy, so we just left and didn't give him a split. Nick and I split it 2 ways. I got 15 mil, he got 15 mil.
So before you got into hacking, you were scamming.
This is like leading up to it, kind of how I met the guy. Right now, the guy works for a huge internet security firm. He's amazing. I've never met someone better at hacking than this guy. Like he's insanely smart. He's 1 year older than me, insanely smart guy.
So this guy who got you into hacking now essentially works for an antivirus company, right?
Yeah, because he makes a lot of money at his job.
So is hacking RuneScape accounts and selling the gold now how you essentially make your living?
I make more money than a lot of people at their job right now.
So around how much money will you make in a week from hacking?
I can't tell you per week because it varies. I can tell you per month though. March 2016, I did 10k, 10 or 11k USD.
You made $11,000 in 1 month from hacking RuneScape accounts.
I say per month it's a steady $8 to $11,000.
Does this take a lot of work? Do you have to stay at your computer all day, or is most of it done away from the computer and you're just waiting for people to fall for the scams?
Yeah, I'm literally AFK the whole time. That's what people don't believe. Yeah, like I'll go to like my friend's house, come back, and I'll make a few $100s.
How did the friend you went to Bandos with introduce you to hacking?
We were just talking. An hour later, he says, "Do you know what phishing is?" This guy could have fished me right there.
Why didn't he fish you right there?
Really nice person. Says, "Do you know what phishing is?" And I'm not too sure what it is, but I do know that my parents always told me not to enter financial details on any website. And so I had a vague idea of what it was, even though, my parents are still like blown away about what I'm doing right now.
Wait, so your parents know you make a living from hacking? How do they feel about that?
Yeah, they know all about it. My dad loves it. My mom, she sees that I'm paying my college. I have a car. She thinks it's good. She doesn't really necessarily like it, but it's
a necessary evil to pay your way through college? Do you consider yourself a better person than the other hackers?
Not like some of the people that do some bad shit on this game. I mean, they'll go card anything that moves. I mean, they'll card gold sites without a V. They get a hold of a credit card, they'll buy bonds with it, and that's really unsafe. Some people do it in a really unsafe way that'll bite them in the ass 10 years later. They do it to the wrong person. Because once you card once, it's like free money. Yeah, like once you card once, it's addicting. Like you want more and more, and then eventually you can't stop.
Okay, so you don't steal credit card information, you just hack accounts and sell the gold. So how did the pushing start?
Yeah, so I kind of know what it is, and he says, well, I have this website, it's called webgeeksters.com. Back then, I did not know how to set up a website. I did not know how to buy a domain, how to get hosting. I didn't even know how networking worked. So he sets up this website. He says, go to here. He messaged me on Skype and says, go to here. And so I go to the link, and it looks exactly like RuneScape. And he says, wait, don't type in your details. And I'm wondering why. And he says, don't, because I'll get sent your details. And so he says, type in something. Just type in something that you don't think I would be able to think of. And so I did.
Kind of like a magic trick.
Yeah. And he read it right off what I said. And I was amazed. And I was wondering how he did this, and he taught me a few lines of PHP and how you can use PHP commands to send data. You know how it goes. I was amazed by this, but I wasn't as interested in the code as I was into what I could make off doing this.
So now you could set up a pushing website, but how did you start getting people to come to your website?
Because I saw all these videos on YouTube of there were the very first people that started keylogging this game, and it was like, download this this auto clicker, do you want 99 mage tomorrow, stuff like that. And I actually downloaded one of those. I still have the computer right now in my closet that I downloaded one of those on. When I learned about all this, I decompiled the file that I downloaded because I still had it on that computer. I found out keylogger, the keylogs got sent to the email. I hacked the email. The email's old though, so it didn't really matter. When I knew how to do everything, I'm just kind of like backtrack. Some kind of hacker tried to hack my account by putting a keylogger video up, on YouTube. I downloaded it and I ran it. It didn't work, but the guy running the keylogger was inactive.
So you actually hacked a guy who was trying to hack you?
Yeah, I hacked his email. I got in. I wasn't really too surprised. Back then, keyloggers, the way they were made, most of them, you would put your email and password to send the keylogs into program. The program would compile that, and then since the program wasn't obfuscated, you were able to decompile that file, find the username and password of the email that it would send the logs to, and then you were able to log into that email. It's really nothing hard. Like, all you need is a decompiling program and you're set.
So back to this phishing website you made.
Because we used that website for a solid 6 months. I was trying to think of a way to phish people, and my first thought was I knew some kind of leak or something like that a JMod didn't know, and I would message people in the Grand Exchange. I would say, go to this website, do you want free items or something like that? And I started getting people with it. Like, I got actually a lot of people with it. At the time, I wasn't really surprised, but thinking back on it, of how naive people were to go to something like that. Have you seen The Wolf on Wall Street? You know the scene where Jordan Belfort calls that one person when they're starting business, and he calls him in, the guy says, "You cold called me out of nowhere. You're a complete stranger." That's exactly what I was doing to these people. Yeah, and I was talking to 5 or 6 people at a time, and I was able to keep up the chat logs. Do not know how, but I played each of the stories off perfectly. And, I'd get a few accounts at once, and so I had to get another computer because I was getting so many accounts. And when you could just change a password on the RuneScape website without like email or anything, so I just changed the password to the account. I would just change it, log on, take the stuff. I started really going hard selling gold in 2015.
I was introduced to you through one of your friends. Apparently there's this kind of RuneScape underground community of hackers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So how I met them was my friend and I tried luring them. But we got him in Skype before this, and he ended up DDoSing me and my friends doing it. And so we were all risking a combined amount of like 500 mil. And so I was lucky enough with my good internet at the time to click leave clan chat when I knew I started lagging. And I left the clan chat, didn't lose anything. None of us did. And then his friends came in. His friends were completely maxed because they had hacked accounts. But I could tell it was a DDoS. I've never been DDoS before that time, but then we were talking to him afterwards, and I was particularly interested with how they were doing it, and I kept talking to him more and more and more. Eventually I was able to set up my own rat, mainly by myself. This was hard stuff. You just get all these kids thinking they really knew how to do it, but then when they ran into a problem, they wouldn't know how to troubleshoot it, and they would just give up. So, I spent days and hours just trying to work on how to do this. Port forwarding thing was hard, and, because every router is different. It was like 13 at the time. Well, it was like port forwarding. It was the whole thing with how to make your rat undetectable by antivirus, and, learning runtime, scan time, and eventually I was able to do it. I started ratting pedophiles from chat roulette. One of my friends told me I could make a lot of money like extorting pedophiles.
Wait, so as a 13-year-old, you went on chat roulette and sought out creepy old men so you could rat them and then extort them for money? Otherwise, you might leak their details to their family or the police.
I went on roulette and I ratted them, and I started controlling their computers, and I was like, hey, give me $100 PayPal or something like that, or your family will find out about what you do. Like, thinking back on it, it was a really bad idea because of how illegal it was. After that, I started ratting RuneScape accounts. I had a private server. My friend Nick made the website for me because I didn't know much HTML. So he made my website for me, and I would go in GE and I would advertise it to people. It was a Java drive-by, and eventually it was I built it into a silent drive-by where people would go to it and then they would automatically get ratted depending on their version of browser. And silent drive-bys still work if there's an exploit with Java or the browser you're using.
And drive-by attacks are one of the reasons why Google Chrome stopped supporting Java, right?
Yeah, because a lot of scams are going on this way. Yeah, so I ended up ratting a lot of people that way.
So another method you've told me you used is account recovery. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I've been through this too many times with Modweath. Yeah, I was talking to them last night when I was trying to recover this guy's account. I submitted a recovery request and they personally wrote me a message. I can't read it. They thought I was the real account owner.
So does everyone nowadays use ratting as their method? Do they make a lot of money from it?
A lot of people made a lot of money off ratting. A lot of people made a ton of money off ratting. Everyone still does it, but they do it for different reasons. Do you remember the whole TeamSpeak thing where people would invite you to their TeamSpeak and they would go on like a quote-unquote God Wars dungeon trip or a KBD trip, and they would want you to get into there'd be some kind of plugin that TeamSpeak would want you to update when you join their server, and it was a rat. This doesn't work anymore, but it was a rat. Someone tried it on me, and I reverse engineered, decompiled their file, and I was able to get their IP, their DNS, and I got a real big dox on them, and then I threatened them with that, and they didn't really seem too scared, but I ended up getting their accounts banned. So I guess that was kind of cool.
So eventually your skills brought you to the point where you were hacking other hackers trying to hack you.
It just happened. Like the guy was really persistent on trying to hack me, so I really didn't feel that bad doing it, because in the end it'll teach him that he shouldn't use what he used to try to get me with, I guess, and he just wasn't doing it in the right way. He didn't really know a lot of things. He was using an outdated rat, and it was just, the whole thing was just terrible. I mean, he did it to himself.
You were telling me you hacked quite a large RuneScape YouTuber a while back. I think his name was Alkin. Can you tell me a little bit about how you did that and what happened?
Alkin? It was a long time ago. Me and UGP Josh, which he's long gone, I don't know what he's doing now. We ended up hacking Alkin's YouTube and Everyone Boss's YouTube. I made a phishing video. I made one of the most convincing phishing videos because I took a sound bit of his voice saying, "Hey, what's up?" or something like that, and I made it seem like we were talking to each other. It was really, really convincing because I did voice fades and everything, you know, from where it sounds like he's going away from the mic or he's in the background. I ended up uploading that video to YouTube. A few bill was made, and gold was like $5 or $6 a mil, and it was split between a bunch of different people because people would pay to have access to the YouTube. I don't know why it was so saturated. Like, we did it in such a stupid way, but we had like 3 or 4 videos up at a time with different phishing links. And it was kind of ridiculous because we would have made a lot more if we kept it quiet. We did subtle videos. We got different clips, maybe from his unlisted YouTube that he hasn't shown before. Edited those videos and then put them up on his YouTube with another phishing link in the description. Yeah, we made some money from that. It really wasn't much. It was like, I think it was $10,000 between a bunch of different people. Yeah, it was a week or so. More than a week, I think. Just a little bit more than a week.
While you had access to Alkin's YouTube, did you download his unlisted videos? Did you go through his private messages and screenshot those? Did you check his connected accounts?
No. We really didn't care about that. Thinking back on it, this wasn't really when account recovery was big. We didn't really care that much. Now with the mindset that people have now, data is everything. So thinking back on it, I should have, because whatever he has on his RS account right now, that could be mine. Like, I could go buy a new car with what he has on his RS account right now.
So how did you get access to Alkin's YouTube account?
His recovery for his Gmail was insecure. We hacked that from a database.
When you're talking about a database, you're talking about the leaked databases of Zybez and various botting websites. Basically where passwords are exposed and usernames are exposed.
Then recovered his that's how we got his YouTube. We changed all the details on it from an IP close to his with the same ISP, so it looked like the correct. I guess Google bought it and they just gave us the account for a while. But then I think Alkin sent in his government ID or something like that, and he was able to get his account back.
What motivates you to hack accounts? What's your moral justification for the things that you do?
I'm going to college. It's really fun. It's fun to see how you can improve your skills and work with what you have. That's a good part of it, but it's also like money. You know, at the end of each day, I look at my bank account, and or at the end of each week or month, you know, I'll look at my bank account, and it's grown. It's nice to see progress.
Clearly you're making a living off of doing what you're doing right now. But are there like people who are much better than you making a lot more money than you are now?
I would consider myself one of the best. I know that's like really cocky, but the people who are coming in the game now, they started way too late. I've been doing this since forever.
I remember someone commented on one of my videos that you have to be like really stupid to get hacked. So I replied back to him saying, on flash drives you can change the software that automatically installs on your computer to a rat or a keylogger, and people have dropped flash drives outside of Google headquarters on a parking lot, and of course Google employees pick them up. You can't be aware of all the exploits that are out there, but common sense will take you a very long way.
I've done it. Yes. Trust me, I've every way that you can hack someone, like I think I've done it. Like I think I've exhausted my options at this point.
What piece of advice would you give to people to help avoid them getting hacked?
Be more educated. The best advice, really. There's just too much stuff out there now that
some. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot about account security and how hackers get into your account. It is literally this guy's job to hijack your account. Common sense will take you a long way, but educating yourself will take you even further. I spent pretty much an entire day editing down a 2-hour interview into 15 minutes, because let's be honest, no one wants to watch an unedited 2-hour interview. My goal with YouTube is to make educational yet entertaining videos. I don't mind taking a look at the dark side of the game now and again so you guys can learn about what goes on behind the scenes. I'll say it again very clearly, I do not support what these people are doing. I'm putting this information out there for everyone's security. This video literally took an entire week to organize and edit. I don't expect this video to reach hundreds of thousands of views like some of my other videos, but I'm publishing it because it's a lot of value. If you can appreciate what I do, feel free to subscribe. Pretty soon we'll hit 20,000 subscribers. That is an insane amount of people. You can literally fill an entire stadium with 20,000 people. I really appreciate what you guys have done for me. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.